Hey, hot tubbers! Welcome to the podcast Tub Talk with the Hot Tub Lady. I am your host, Jackie Johnson, along with
I am Frank, and we're so squeezed in here. I can see there's a little bit of issues in our little studio here, but welcome everybody. Good to see everybody again.
happy to see you all. And bam, look at that. So anyway, guys, welcome to the podcast, and we got.
Technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Okay, we're gonna stop that. Okay, there we go. We're gonna pull this back out, and thank you for your patience. And how's the sound now? Everybody hear us all right?
I sure can.
Okay. So I think we're good. So I'm almost here. Okay. So yes, it is tight in here, and we're gonna try that again. And hey, hot tubbers, welcome to the podcast Tub Talk with the Hot Tub Lady. And my host joining me is Mr.
Frank
Johnson.
Frank Johnson. Glad to be here.
We're glad to have you here. So just want to welcome everybody back to episode 3 of season 5. It's been 5 seasons already that we've been doing this. I've been doing this. You just joined me recently, but that's what we've got going on there. And just so you all know, if you're new to the live stream, we go live every Tuesday at 6:30, and then the podcast goes live on all your favorite platforms on Wednesday mornings, so you can always catch the new stuff there. We will be taking a couple weeks off next week because next Tuesday is Christmas Eve already, and next Wednesday, or the Tuesday after that, is New Year's Eve. So we'll be taking the 2 weeks off after that, but we will be right back right after the new year.
It'll be a whole different year.
Before we get into today's episode, I want to do a big shout out to David Wright. David shared the podcast on LinkedIn last week, and I really appreciate that. So he did win the logbook, and at the end of this episode, we are going to be giving away one of our super cool Sip, Soak, and Soothe Hot Tub Lady coffee mugs to kind of go along with the 30-day soak challenge. Stay tuned to the end of the episode, and I will tell you guys how you get to win that. But let's just kind of get into it. It's the big thing I want to talk about today, because this has become a super, super popular topic. So I get literally hundreds of messages every week from all the different platforms, whether you follow me on Instagram or YouTube or TikTok or wherever. But every once in a while, I've got somebody's having issues that their FreshWater IQ is, or even just their regular salt system. Let's not even include the FreshWater IQ in this mix, but they're getting error messages. The messages are telling them anything's like they have high salt, they have high pH, their salt system isn't working completely, the water is completely gross. There's all kinds of things that happen. And I start going through the process like, okay, where's your hardness at? Where's your salt at? Where's your pH at? I start asking all those questions. And I've actually had to start asking lately, where did you buy your salt cell? Because there are a ton of counterfeit salt cells out there. I hate to say it, Amazon is one of the worst places to buy them. You have to be really, really careful because the fakes look just as good as the reals, as the real salt cells. And there are even companies on Amazon that are faking, even on Google in general, that are faking out good friends of mine. They're stealing their websites and making them look like their website, and they're selling these salt cells. And there's just, check the website. If it looks fishy in any way, shape, or form, it is probably not a real salt cell. And the more important thing about these counterfeit salt cells is, A, they're not producing chlorine. They're not working correctly. And B, they're wrecking hot tubs. They are absolutely wrecking salt systems. And in some cases, you're paying up to $1,800 to get that salt system in your hot tub. And now you're putting this counterfeit salt cell in the system. and it is literally messing with the brains of your hot tubs. So you really need to be careful where you buy your hot tub or where you buy your salt cells. I highly recommend the number one place that you need to go is you need to go to the dealer that you bought your hot tub from. You bought it from your local dealer for a reason. They're there to take care of you. It is really important that you support them and you go back to them. That is the best place that you should go. If you have to order them online, please, please, please make sure you're ordering it from your dealer's website and not a fake website. I do have links in the show notes down below where I'm working at now, Combined Pool and Spa. If you need me to, I will personally pack those salt cells. But these fakes look really, really good. And in fact, let me
So
pull this
why
up.
are the people purchasing them?
Oh, because they're cheaper.
Okay.
I mean, bottom line is
Well,
because
that's what they need to know.
they're buying them because they're cheaper. And to be honest with you, if it's below $99, it's a fake. The Watkins has a MAP pricing, and unfortunately, that is the lowest that any of us can go. So, for example, we can see one here for $74 right here. That's not okay. That's not legit. That's a fake salt cell. You can look at these down here on the end, 189 for 3. Those are fakes. Those are going to wreck your hot tub. So that few dollars that you're going to save on that hot tub, or on that salt cell, you're actually going to wreck your $25,000 hot tub. This is a really, really big deal. There's a ton of them. They're coming in from China, and they are just a bad. They're a bad actor, and it's not worth the money. And I have yet to find anybody who's actually gotten one of these counterfeit salt cells and they work properly. So they don't, you're just wasting your money.
Yep, we sure haven't.
So it's been an issue. So, and the great thing about buying it from your local dealer is they have record of it. So if something were to happen, and I can't speak for every dealer in the nation, but I know at our dealership, if you're really having an issue, and I haven't seen a bad salt cell that is a non-counterfeit, I haven't seen a bad one in 3 years, I bet, because they really have, they've got that dialed in. Everything is working perfectly on those salt cells. They are not going bad early. But if you buy it from a local dealer, they're going to have records, and they're going to know exactly when you bought that salt cell. And there's just some peace of mind there that if for some reason you're having a bad salt cell, we would look at our records and we would honor that, and we would replace that for you. Now, I can't speak for all the dealers in the nation, but that is something that our dealership would do. But we have to have record that you actually bought it from us. And it's just not worth it. It is not worth wrecking your hot tub to save a couple hundred or to save $100 on a 3-pack of salt cells. And they look like they are the real thing. They are just definitely, they look like it. I mean, they look like they are, I mean, they can fool me. They look that good, but it's just not all there. They don't have all the brains in it, and they are not communicating with the control panels. And it's just one of those things that I have to tell you guys about. And I mean,
yeah, exactly. I just got to give a shout out to Kyle and Kayla.
Are they having a good time over
here
in the
comments? They're having a good time asking us questions. And Kayla says, you pay for what you get, spend the money, know that you're getting the product you need. Oh, I could use a new mug. Yes, Kayla, we'll get you a new mug. And Kyle says, as a customer told me today, Frank around and find out. Thanks, Kyle. Appreciate that, buddy.
You actually had a customer
that
say that
happened.
today?
Yeah, well.
Frank around and find out. Did you fix it?
I had a long day today, and it was fabulous, and I had a blast, and I got everything in order, and we got it fixed. So, yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah.
it was a good day. So,
yeah.
So if anybody has any questions about the salt cells, just shoot me a message. Bottom line, if it looks too good to be true, it is probably not the real deal, and you're going to pay for it later. So we all get burned by it. We all do the thing. I just fell for a whole shoe thing the other day. I bought all these shoes, and they were not the right shoes. And in fact, I never got the shoes. It was
kind of like buying a Whirlpool and thinking you're getting a hot tub.
Yeah, it's
Big difference.
there is a big difference. So
But
just do yourself a favor and support your local dealer. That's the number one thing that you need to do. If you need to buy them online, like I said, I have links down below. CombinePoolAndSpa.com. There's some there. My friends over at La Crosse, Hot Spring Spas of La Crosse, I know that they have really good ones. And my friends in Reno, Spa and Sauna Company, they have a really good website where you can buy them from there. All of those I know are really good. And I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds more of people that you can buy from. But just go to your local dealer and buy them from there. And most of them anymore are set up on a auto ship program, so you don't even have to think about it. Just every 3 months they're going to send them out. I know that's something we're kicking off at the first of the year, and it's just you're getting the real deal, and it just shows up when you need to do it, and that's just a really great thing to do. So buy your salt cells from a local dealer. You'll be glad you did. So, segment number 2. Okay. So I miss my graphics. I'm sorry, everybody. I messed that up. So
we didn't have a lot of time today to prepare.
We do.
So,
I have.
you're doing just
but you know,
fine.
it's snowing out today.
Beautiful.
You would think it was the first snow ever, and nobody's ever driven in it.
My oldest daughter was standing outside when I came home tonight in the driveway and says, "Dad, isn't this beautiful?" And I said, "Yeah, sure is."
It's a beautiful fluffy snow. We're going hot.
I'll have to shovel it. And
well, I'll let him worry about the shoveling. I'm going to hot tub. It is the perfect. These are the type of days that I come home from work to go sit in the hot tub. There's no wind. It's just really. But anyway, it took me a really long time to get home today, so we're a little rushed that way. So we are going to jump into Frank's Fix-It Tips.
What do you got for me tonight?
Well, so this has been a really popular question that I've been getting, and it's people are saying I have to put pH decreaser in my salt cell all the time. Why?
Oh, well, Jackie, I've been out there quite a bit here lately, and that's the number one thing is this is why I am out there in the field, and I do like to do my own startups, and about 90% of them have been my pH is decreasing.
Increasing.
Excuse me, my pH is increasing. I have way too high pH when that first comes up on your monitor when we get that FreshWater IQ all set. The main thing is what I like to go out there and start these FreshWater IQs up. I always need a good 24 hours, and I follow you 3 days afterwards. Now, in this process, I maintain the chlorine process up. Okay, the first 3 days, we have to get that chlorine up to date with your salt and everything else. Let's get those chemicals right before we want to even turn that FreshWater IQ on. So what happens is when I do this chlorine process for the first couple of days, this pH will rise, okay? This is normal, people, okay? Don't panic. You'll get that little red dot, say my pH is too high, my pH is too high. We get that. I get that. What you can do is just a simple fix. We start 3 tablespoons of decrease every day. Depends on how much water you have in your hot tub, but let's start decreasing that. Sometimes it might take 3 days. Sometimes it makes 16 days. It's just that level will start to fall down, and as long as your chemicals stay adjusted, you got to watch your salt levels and stuff like that too, because if you have no salt in there, we're not getting anywhere, and if you have too much salt, we're not getting anywhere. So we really want to go into this where you are pretty picture perfect with your chemicals to start with, and then when we do this chlorine process, your pH will rise, and we'll get to 10 that down and with pH decreaser. And I have the decreaser bottle right here. This is what you will start with. But about 90% of this FreshWater IQ startups have gone that way. And just a simple fix, you just start decreasing that pH with pH decreaser, and it'll start to come down.
And 100%. And so one of the big things that I need to explain in all of that is a byproduct of just making the chlorine. So what these salt systems do is they actually take the salt in the water and they split that molecule. That molecule is chlorine and sodium. And all it's doing is splitting that molecule over and over and over again. And a byproduct of that process actually raises your pH. So here in Sioux Falls, where we actually have really low alkalinity and pH to begin with, that we are finding that most of our customers are having to put two teaspoons or 2 teaspoons of pH decreaser in every month or so. And the hot tub is going to tell you when to do that. But like Frank was saying at the beginning, if you turn that sensor on before that stuff is balanced, it's going to really mess with it. And like we've got a market just outside of us, anywhere in Minnesota, Brandon, anywhere like that, they have super high alkalinity. So your pH is you're going to have to take that down really slow. And it may take 16 days before you actually get to turn your sensor on. And that's why you have to do that. But then after you get it balanced, you're still going to, anytime you bring in a water test, we're probably going to tell you that you have to lower your pH. And that's because there's a byproduct of making that chlorine is actually raising the pH. So that is super common and super normal. And there's nothing wrong with your salt system. That means it's actually working. So
correct. Yeah. And just a few tips to go along with that too is, like I said, check your salt. And another tip I have for you is maybe go ahead and pull that filter out and clean it one more time. Because sometimes that factory stuff is still in there that the cold water might be. It depends on how you get to start up. But it never, ever hurts to clean that filter. And then just recalibrate.
how often should they clean the filter?
Oh, I always tell everybody for sure once a month, but once every 3 weeks is actually what you should honestly do.
Okay. And so I just taught spa school again this week, and this was a really popular question. And people are like, well, how do you do it this time of year? And one of the best things for you to do is I actually have 3 sets here, and I don't even do it anymore. Frank does it for me. But now I have one hot tub in the filter, and that hot tub's in the filter. I have one soaking in my filter cleaner. So I have a container, I have a brick on my filter so it stays submerged, about half a bottle of my filter cleaner. Actually, on the salt systems, I actually recommend that you guys switch to filter tabs. There's less phosphates in there. And then I have one filter drying on the shelf. Once a month, we rotate those out, and we're good to go. It's cold right now. I don't really want to be outside with a hose rinsing off that filter, so I'll let that one soak a little longer, and we're good to go. But
it's pretty convenient for us.
And if
it really is. So if you're just down to the one filter, you do got to maintain that and clean that one filter.
But that is definitely have a second pair. Number one service call is hands down is a dirty filter.
Dirty filter.
And it makes such a huge difference. And unfortunately, if we have to come out and clean your filter, that is not covered under warranty. You do get a full service charge for that to happen. So always have a spare set available, or just make sure that you're cleaning it. And while we're on the topic, do you know what our number 2 service call is?
Well, I'll let you answer that.
Our number 2 service call is not enough water in the hot tub.
Well, I was going to say, but I didn't want to be wrong. So yes, your water level is very, very important. And as we go through this holiday weekend, I just kind of want to throw a reminder out there to everybody. If you do have that extra day off before the kids come home, I know I'm out of line here, but yeah, go ahead and lift that hot tub up, see where your water level's at. Might be real important. 6 kids want to jump in when they're home for Christmas, and your hot tub's not going to run correctly because there's not enough water in it, or your filter's not clean. So just 15-minute job.
So, and that's one of those things. Preemptives is way better than actually waiting till there's a problem. So that's a big deal. Kayla has a good comment here. She says, even the kitchen sink.
Even the kitchen sink hose is the last resort, better than not cleaning the filter at all. So correct, Kayla. Thank you for that.
So that's a big deal for sure. And so that does it for Frank's Fix It tips. And then I missed a segment in there somewhere. So, are you ready for Christmas?
Absolutely. Yep.
You got all the shopping done?
I got all my shopping done.
He actually did really good this year. I'm super impressed with him. He did way more than I wanted to do.
I'm not a UPS driver anymore, so it was pretty simple to get that stuff done.
We're probably loving it. We have been crazy busy. I can't believe how many people are getting hot tubs for Christmas presents this year. It is It's been pretty fun. The delivery manager is not overly happy with me because I'm like, oh sure, I can get that delivered by Christmas. Sure, I can get that delivered by Christmas. But she'll pull it off, and we got
She's the
plenty of help.
best. Yeah,
Yeah,
she's the best.
she's absolutely
she's
amazing.
incredible, and she's been doing a fantastic job. You can't say
Yeah,
enough how good she is.
And if she make sure I dot all my I's and cross all my T's, and that is a hard thing to make sure Jackie is dotting her I's and crossing her T's.
Shout out to you, Caitlin. You're awesome.
Yeah, we do appreciate Caitlin very much. And then let's talk about hot tub of the week.
Hot tub of the week?
Yeah, hot tub of the week. We didn't talk about a hot tub of the week.
You talking brand?
Well, I know we're going to talk about the Caldera Merino hot tub. This is not even a saltwater hot tub, but it is one of our best sellers. It would be a spa. It would be a spa frog. It is an awesome 7x7 hot tub, 36 inches. It lands in our value line. So it is a fantastic hot tub. And
Kayla says Selena, but
yeah, I see that. We got Kayla over here saying Selena.
Everybody's got their own preference, and yeah, about it.
But the Merino is, if for those of you that are out looking for a more budget-friendly hot tub and still want a really good value, the Caldera Merino is just
great hot tub. I love doing them.
It's great hot tub. It's got the inline chemical system, has 2 jet pumps, about 38 jets, color changing lights, waterfall, all the things, and you can usually get into those anywhere from about $9,500 to about $13,000. So they're a really good deal, just depending on what your dealers are throwing in and what the financings are and that type of thing. But really good hot tub if you guys are looking for a value hot tub that you're going to have peace of mind. And don't forget that Caldera hot tubs all have that 20-year parts guarantee, where they guarantee that they're going to have parts available for the next 20 years for that hot tub. And if you don't think that's a big deal, go buy any other brand and try to get a part for it 5 years from now. I would, it's
good point.
It's a huge deal. In fact, call around and tell them you have a 5-year-old version of that particular hot tub and you need a new heater for it, and see how that goes for you. A lot of stuff was sold over COVID that maybe shouldn't have been sold, and people were just getting parts from wherever they could, and that's something that Caldera never did. You did have to wait for your hot tubs at that point, but they never ever compromised on quality, so that was a really big deal there.
Well, that's the question from Sarah, and I kind of went over it, but just one thing to add for Sarah. Go ahead and read her question. And
yeah, so it's, if you guys have any questions, it's a good time to jump on and ask. We are jumping into the Q&A section. I don't have that page.
Okay, well, she's asking about the same thing I went over with it. She's having the same problems with her pH, and just to keep on what I said before, go back and listen to pH increaser or decreaser. No matter which ones you do, always run those jets while you're putting any chemical. So you always want those jets running so it can filter through all the water. Just a point to tell her that never put any chemicals in without the jets running.
Right. So Sarah's question is, what is the easiest way to lower my pH without overcorrecting? Well, tip number 1, download the Hot Tub Ladies pH guide, or read the back of your bottle that actually gives you the exact dosages of what you need to do. So you need to find how many gallons of hot tub, how many gallons you have, and how much you need to lower it. So if you have an 8.2 and you have a 300-gallon hot tub, you just look on the back of the bottle, you line up the 2 charts, and it'll say add this much pH decreaser. Now, the thing is that a lot of people don't realize is your alkalinity a lot of times is connected to the pH. So you can drop that pH, and then if your alkalinity is high, it's going to bounce right back up, and you just got to keep working at it until the alkalinity comes down. Now, if you do lower your pH too much, very easy fix. You just put in a little bit of pH increaser and let that do that. Now, the biggest trick that I can stress to anyone is give your chemicals 24 hours to work. Don't stand over the hot tub and act and play mad scientist. You don't want to put in 2 teaspoons of pH decreaser, test the water, and be like, oh, that was too low, and then add a teaspoon of pH increaser and be like, oh, now it's too high, and go back and forth. All you're doing is wasting your time, your money, your chemicals, your test strips, all of that. So put in your chemicals, wait 24 hours to work. If you have the FreshWater IQ, put in your chemicals, let it test, wait 24 hours before you do anything else it suggests to do. Let your chemicals work before you make more adjustments. That's a huge deal.
Great question, AB. Why is there a different reading between the strips and the hot tub monitor? Well, you kind of just explained it, but go ahead. That's a great point.
So, AB, that is a great question. So her question is why are there different reading between the strips and the hot tub monitor? And I'm assuming you have a FreshWater IQ, and so that's what I'm going to go with. Now, the first things first, if your FreshWater IQ isn't completely dialed in before you start testing it, that could be some of it. It could also be you have bad test strips. We see that a lot. Test strips expire, and if your test strips ever freeze, they don't always test the way you want them to. So, again, you don't want to... So I've had a couple of people who've had the FreshWater IQ. They have their test strips. They have the 5-way salt test strips. They bought other test strips on Amazon, and then they also have the eye care that I sell on my website. So they got all 4 of those, and they're comparing them all against each other. And unless you want to spend the $2,500 that we have on our lab at the store and test your water that way, you're really not going to have. They're not all going to be exactly the same. So my advice to you is to pick one and go with it. And you do want to, on the FreshWater IQ, I suggest you go with the FreshWater IQ, but sometimes those are out of calibration. So it's good to test up against that like once a month. And sometimes they get off, and the FreshWater IQ is not testing alkalinity. So if your alkalinity is high and you put in your 2 tablespoons of pH decreaser and you say, okay, and you come back the next day, it's probably going to tell you put in the pH decreaser again, even though it's high on your test strip.
Thank you.
So that's one of those things. I hope that kind of answered the question. But they all test just a little bit differently. And on these color coded test strips, everybody reads those colors and those codes just a little bit differently. And so what I think is a 1, Frank will think is a 0.5 or a 3. So there are definitely some differences there. So everybody reads those a little bit differently. And unless you've got a scanner that can actually read them, and they're out there. You can buy them if you want to get the software and do all that. But it is definitely a reason for that. Kayla says, why would I put in pH decreaser to lower my alkalinity? Great question. And I know Kayla knows the answer to that question. And the reason for that is there is no such thing as alkalinity decreaser. There is alkalinity increaser, which is sodium bicarbonate, but there is no alkalinity decreaser. And so you have to lower it with a pH decreaser or a muriatic acid. I do not recommend muriatic acids in hot tubs. Swimming pools, it's fine, but in a hot tub, it's too much acid in too small of a space, and it can cause too big of an issue. But you have to go very, very slowly. So if you read the back of your bottle and it tells you need 16 tablespoons of pH decreaser and you dump all that in at once and not over the 16 days that you were told to, all you're doing is you're going to bottom out that pH for 2 to 3 days, and then once that alkalinity gets a hold of everything again, you're going to pop it right back up, and you got to do it all over again. So if you don't slowly do that, that's why you have to use pH decreaser to lower your alkalinity. So
great answer.
Is it?
Great answer, yes.
Okay, Good deal. So
yep, you would explain it just like she would have.
I would have for sure. So, well, I think that answers all our questions, and I think that's going to kind of wrap us up for today. Don't forget that you can win the Sip, Soak, and Soothe Hot Tub Lady coffee mug. I will ship that out to you for free. All you have to do is share this week's podcast. You can either share the YouTube version of it, or you can share it on any of the podcasts that platforms that you like. So Apple, Spotify, whatever. Just share those on your social media. Make sure you tag at the Hot Tub Lady. I mean, that's my handle on everything, Instagram, Facebook, all of them. Be sure to follow us on the Facebook page. Sorry, that was
just
the
wait a
wrong
second.
button.
Now I got one person. Got a surprise for you, maybe in a month or two. I did ask. Got a shout out to Sergio. Sergio, I hope you're watching, buddy, and remember what I talked to you about. So hopefully we're gonna get Sergio on the show once.
Well, 100%. I would love to have Sergio on the show.
And we can have it in Spanish and English. So we're gonna work on that.
Oh,
so yeah, Sergio's got our back. We'll get him on. So,
and then
Sergio,
and then make sure you join the Facebook page, Clean Your Hot Tub Filters. We'd love to see you guys there. We will also be on Instagram. That's a great place to find us. And again, you guys, we will and. Kayla's saying at the Hot Tub Lady, all one word, on any of the places, LinkedIn, all of them. And guys, thank you so much for joining us. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We will be back January 7th. So that'd be the first Tuesday in January.
The next 2 Tuesdays we're off. The
Tuesday
next after that.
then,
so whatever that lands on.
So we'll be back then. Be sure to shoot out your questions. Make sure you share the podcast. Don't forget to buy my book. This is a great stocking stuffer for the hot tub people that you have in your life. You can definitely check that out. Go to Amazon and just search Hot Tub Clarity. You will definitely find it that way. You might hit the word book in there. But guys, thank you so much. Get your salt cells from your local dealer. It'll save you so much time, money, and effort in the end. And thank you so much for watching. Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays, everyone.
We'll see you next week.